NC State was counting on Clemson, but the Tigers had other plans. Fear not, Wolfpack Nation, for Will Wade's been spending most of his life living in a gangster's paradise.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Wolfpack Nation? It's time to get locked in with Locked On. Thanks for making Locked On Wolfpack your first listen each and every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Our Friday show is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. How fitting. Head on over to 5hourenergy.com and find over 15 different flavors to choose from. If you need one now, head to your local grocery or convenience store and grab a 5 Hour Energy today. Stock up and stay energized. Happy Friday to all. As always, I'm Grayson Boone, joined by former Wolfpack defensive tackle Kenton Gibbs. Kenton, I tell you what, I don't know why I thought putting any faith into Brad Brownell was a good idea. NC State would have liked Clemson to beat McNeese on the Thursday opening round game. Will Wade leads the McNeese State Cowboys to their first ever tournament win, a 2-point win, thrilling fashion over the Clemson Tigers. It was a first half domination, in fact. And for all Wolfpack fans that had tuned into this game, and you saw how Will Wade goes about his business and the way he was elated in the post game, running around, grabbing people, hugging people, going into the stands to hug more people, high fives all around. He looked a little bit like Jimmy V, which is ironic because I've been comparing him as such recently. How can you not be in love with the thought of what this man is bringing with him to Raleigh? He is the perfect fit, and he only proves it more each and every day.
But Grayson, I thought that with the announcement that he was going to NC State, the players were going to be so dejected they weren't even going to go out there and play the game. I thought it was over. I thought they were going to go pack it in and go to bed. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that?
Get me wind up because I'm about to go off about this. Go ahead.
By the way, Grayson and I can see all of your brackets, everybody who's in the Locked On Wolfpack.
Some of y'all lied. I saw what you did. I saw what you did. You ain't slick picking McNeese.
Wait, Grayson. I'm just so confused, Grayson, because I was told things. I was told that it was just such a scummy move and that nobody was going to be prepared for McNeese and that even Amir Orakan was not going to be ready. All of a sudden, the boombox was rolling. McNeese was playing all the hits. And by the way, I know y'all aren't going to want to hear this, but to say that he was coming to the Wolfpack and to officially stamp it, Will Wade put on his most Kevin Keats performance possible in terms of their shooting from the three-point line and from the field. Quick question, Grayson. McNeese State won this game while shooting what percentage from deep?
It's something low. They only hit like a handful of threes. I'm going to say less than 30%.
21.
Okay.
Oh, but that's okay. You know, when games get toward the end, they had a big lead over Clemson. It becomes a free throw game. Give me a wild guess on what you think they shot from the free throw line.
That had to be bad, too. I think Kadir Copeland missed like 4 or 5 foul shots. It was brutal.
They went 50% from the free throw line.
Oh.
Now, here's where it was unlike Keats. The undersized team, which was McNeese State, won the rebounding battle, and they won the game. And again, that's not a shot at Keats. That's not it's a joke. It's a jab. Don't take this as like us, peeing on somebody's grave or something like that. Like Coach Keats is still alive, where he's going, to find a job elsewhere. But in all seriousness, I guess this puts to bed the idea that this team would be woefully underprepared or woefully unprepared because of all the things, because they came out and punched Clemson in the mouth. This game ended up a 2-point game because McNeese State shot so poorly from the free throw line at the end. They were up 31-13 at the half. This team was up 31-13 at the half. So make no bones about it. Coach Wade did an amazing job here, and I'm not concerned about it at all. If we're looking at like a Final Four national championship run, then I'm a little bit more concerned. But a win to get you to round of 32, in the words of one Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, it's not enough.
Should NC State be worried at all by McNeese advancing to the round of 32? I'm here to tell you emphatically, no. That game does not change any of the ongoing circumstances. It's only just annoying in a sense that you hope that McNeese could be out early. Will Wade could come to Raleigh as soon as possible. We could, announce him publicly, do the press conference on Tuesday. And because the portal opens on Monday, you would like him to have as much time as he can to get rolling in that fashion as well. So it's just annoying in a sense that we have to wait a couple extra days, but it doesn't actually change anything behind the scenes. From what I've heard, this deal is done, even though it was announced as verbally. So I'm still going to say it's 99% because the 1% is McNeese being done with their season. So we're still at 99%, but it's not going backwards. We're not now at 84%. Nothing has changed on that front. So there's nothing to worry about. I will say this. If they also find a way to beat Purdue, I think maybe then it will go back to like 92%. But until then, we're fine. Will Wade is coming to NC State. He's even hinted as such in multiple different fashions in the media. I saw post-game, he went on the Field of 68 live stream with Jeff Goodman, and they were kind of poking at him, prodding at him. Jeff Goodman's a loser, so he tends to do that anyway. But he immediately started asking him, how have you handled this with your players and, the connection to NC State? How's this been handled? And Will Wade said exactly what I've been saying on here for a while now. He's transparent. He tells his players exactly what's been going on, and he's been doing such since January, okay? The only people that for some reason do not understand this are the national coverage people, because those are the ones, the Jay Billis, the Charles Barkley, they're like, well, I don't know how you can do this to the kids of McNeese State. This feels like a weird move. And Charles Barkley's like, Will Wade's being a knucklehead. No, that's not true. Transparency matters. His players have known that this is coming. He even hinted that some of them may be coming with him to NC State or a P5 stop, as he referred to. So Will Wade is still coming to State. There's nothing to worry about. And I'm going to use this opportunity to give you a little bit of a spin zone, okay? Him beating Clemson, it's almost like poetic justice, because we've struggled with Clemson the last couple of years. Clemson is Will Wade's alma mater, so I'm sure it was like twice as nice for him. He gets the first ever NCAA tournament win for McNeese. He does it over his former school and former team because he was a grad assistant there. And he's coming to NC State as an entrance into the ACC. This lets the ACC know that he is for real. He is a gangster. I saw Corey Smith had tweeted, supposedly McNeese had not played a 2-3 zone at any point this season, but they just started dabbling with it so they could use it in the NCAA tournament. That's a gangster. You want to talk about making adjustments, and that's been a heavy criticism of Kevin Keats. Will Wade just attempted something with his team in the NCAA tournament that he hasn't done all year. You want to talk about bringing some cojones to the table? That's Will Wade. Will Wade, American gangster, as John Rothstein likes to say. I don't know how you can be anything other than elated that this guy is about to be ours in a few short days.
Oh my God, national media being wrong or rude to NC State.
Color me shocked.
I can't believe it. Color me Grayson, because I can't believe it. Oh no. The first thing I'll do tomorrow when I wake up as Grayson is run my hands through a luscious head of hair. But in all seriousness, I mean, are we really surprised here? How many college games do you think Barkley's watched all year? These are the same people who talked about Kevin Keats, and he was fired after going to 1 year removed from the Final Four. There's no job security in college basketball. Listen, at the end of the day, again, we are NC State. And I told this to Lions fans, and I'm going to say it to Wolfpack fans too. We will never be America's team in a meaningful way. We will always be the guys that everybody roots against, that everybody has some hidden gripe against, that is like, oh, well, the big brand in Carolina said they're mean, so they're mean. And I've heard that they're like this, so they're like this. Even though some of those things may be the furthest thing from the truth, that's just, we'll always get that rap. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Unless Charles Barkley was giving me recommendation for snacks or something like that, I really don't put too much weight behind what he's saying. It just is what it is. And again, everybody will always have a problem with NC State. And I I like it that way. Good. Make me the black hat. I'd like to win a championship or two before I become the black hat, but I'm all right with putting on that black hat and saying, you know what? You don't like us. We don't like you either. You don't think we belong here? Don't worry about it. We'll get rid of everybody that you think does. And you know, Will Wade's our guy. He's a state guy. I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, and what Kenton just described to you, that's just more reason why Will Wade is a perfect fit in Raleigh. And I'll give you one more spin zone for you. We've talked about the portal that opens up on Monday, and in a perfect world, Will Wade and his new staff could have as much time as they can, potentially losing early, coming to Raleigh early. That's all fine. Here's my spin zone. He's honestly doing recruiting indirectly by winning in the NCAA tournament. The eyeballs are on him. I mean, as of right now, we're recording this on Thursday evening at 9:30. There's still games that have to tip off. But as of right now, McNeese was the story of Thursday because the rest was pretty much chalk. So McNeese got the most buzz. Will Wade got the most buzz. His personality became an instant hit to the surprise of no one because that is his personality. He's electric. And that's going to do some recruiting in its own way. So the portal work that you'd hope he'd be doing in Raleigh, he's basically still doing it anyway because he's still in the tournament. So this is a good thing. I think it's a good thing that he won the first game. We'll take that as a win. If he wins the next one, maybe I'll start sweating just a little bit, but this is our guy. Will Wade is coming to NC State. Believe it or not, I know some of you still won't believe it, and I get why. I get it. We're NC State. Just trust the process. He's coming to state. Just going to have to wait a couple extra days to make it officially official.
But if we do the math on it, even if we say, hey, he wins game one, gets eliminated in round of 32. If he gets eliminated in round of 32, what day is that game, Grayson?
That'd be Saturday. Yeah.
How long do y'all think it takes a jet to get from Lake Charles to Raleigh? He said the job would be 2 years, and he's a man of his word, damn it. You think his family laid down major routes and did all the extras and was like, oh, yeah, we're going to be here for forever? They were planning on, hey, we're probably going to be out of here. We're probably going to be moving on to whatever place next. And this is part of that. This is, again, it would have been nice to be able to announce it on Saturday, pep rally on Tuesday. But if the pep rally was on Tuesday anyway, after the women are hopefully done clearing our regional and moving on here, what's the big tizzy about,
Nothing's
we
changed.
may have to wait till Sunday to announce? Okay.
Nothing's changed. So, yeah, fear not. Will Wade is not going anywhere. It doesn't even matter that Texas lost in the play-in game. We're fine. I've also heard that Sean Miller from Xavier, who ironically just beat Texas, is going to be the leader in the clubhouse to go to Texas. So even if you were worried that Texas would come swooping in, they're not even looking in Will Wade's direction. So NC State, Will Wade, a marriage made in heaven. It's on the way. Just be a little bit more patient. Coming up next, we're going to talk about the women's March Madness that will tip off on Saturday for the Wolfpack. It's time to get it going. Wes Moore, we all know what he does. More on this after a quick word from our sponsors. Our first Friday sponsor is Nissan. We're all about the stats because numbers, well, they don't lie. When it comes to the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X, the numbers are on an MVP level. With the ability to tow up to 8,500 pounds, it can quite literally carry the whole team. Plus, the gear. Wherever you need to go, the Nissan Armada PRO-4X can get you there. It's powered by a twin-turbo V6 engine, delivering the strength and performance to handle highways, back roads, and everything in between. With room for up to 8 people, the Armada PRO-4X is built for big crews, big adventures, and even bigger memories. Whether you're exploring off-road trails or rolling up to the arena, the Armada PRO-4X brings power, versatility, and style wherever you go. Take your adventures to new heights with the all-new Nissan Armada PRO-4X. Learn more at nissanusa.com. Our second Friday sponsor is 5 Hour Energy. Daylight savings time has snuck up on us yet again, so if you're feeling like you lost an hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need just a little bit of a boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament or squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. If you are staying up like I will to be watching the NCAA tournament all weekend long, a 5 Hour Energy can help you make it all the way through. And with longer days, sometimes you like getting outside, going for a hike or a run. Tropical Burst is the perfect flavor to pair with those activities. Head on over to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 different flavors to choose from. This includes watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered straight to your front door. If you need one now, grab a 5-Hour Energy shot at your local grocery or convenience store because they're literally everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized with 5-Hour Energy. Middle portion of our Friday show. If you've been looking to watch an NC State team in March Madness, because last year we had one hell of a time, the women's team begins their new journey on Saturday. The NC State women's basketball team is the 2 seed in the Spokane 1 region. They will face off with the 15 seed Vermont Catamounts. Funny enough, I actually looked this up. NC State women's basketball has only ever played Vermont one time, and they actually lost. It was in 2009, and this is technically PWM, which is kind of like BC, but it stands for pre-Westmore. NC State's much different now, obviously. They are a wagon. I don't expect a 15-seeded Vermont to change the trajectory of our wagon's course. Coming into these last couple weeks, we've been one of the hottest teams in women's college basketball. We had that run. We beat Duke. We beat Notre Dame. Sadly, came up a little bit short in the ACC tournament championship against Duke. But you got to hope that a game like that and a tough loss like that gives them the fuel that they need to go on, hopefully, what is another Final Four. So, Kenton, the next iteration of Westmore and March Madness begins on Saturday. How is your gut telling you this thing's going down?
Well, I love what you said there in terms of that loss giving them the fuel to win here. I think that it's the exact opposite. I think that they were just out of fuel. That was a team that looked out of gas. I mean, with all due respect, who in the nation played a tougher stretch to finish the season out than NC State? And that's even before you get into the conference tournament. There was very little reprieve from top 15 team, top 25 team, top 10 team. And then you're going through all that, and then you get to the conference tournament where you get 1 or 2 games against lackluster teams. But the interesting thing about what the double buys provide on the women's side, you may get the double buys and rest, but that means that all you're playing going forward is either really good teams or teams that, they're finding their stride a little bit. So they found ways, did what they needed to do, and came up short. We're in a game where, again, in the past, including that game, leaders in, I believe, 4 of the major 5 categories or 3 of the major 5 statistical categories at some point in time had left the game with injury. And, get them some rest. Get them some rest. Get them feeling good. Get them feeling loose. Get them feeling ready. I am not worried about the Catamounts. Now, last time we said that, Dave Dorn and company played a game that was real close with the Catamounts, maybe not of Vermont, but of Western Carolina. Westmore, if you can hear this, stand on business, brother. Stand on business. You put them away early, you clear the bench, and you give those starters some more much-needed rest.
Yeah, in a perfect world, this should be a very comfortable win. And not to jinx them here, but these are 2 teams that are not on the same playing field. And NC State being as hot as they were coming into the conference tournament and now the NCAA tournament, you talk about them needing rest. Well, they got a whole week off because there is that random gap between the conference tournament and NCAA tournament for the women's side. So they should be more than well rested. And if that's the case, I feel kind of bad for Vermont because you have arrested Isaiah James, you have arrested Zoe Brooks, you have arrested Sanaya Rivers. This should be a comfortable win, and it should set you up very nicely for whoever you see in that next game. It's either going to be Michigan State or Harvard. We spoke a little bit about this last week. Harvard has a baller, and so I think Michigan State may or may not be on upset alert, but NC State should never feel out of control in hopefully the next 2 games because this is a team that is built for the Sweet 16 and probably much deeper than that. A trip to the Sweet 16 should almost be like a guarantee for this team because they are that talented. They have played that well down the stretch that there shouldn't be anything that Michigan State, Harvard, or Vermont has in the tank to get in the way of us right now. So I would be thoroughly stunned if we do not make it to the Sweet 16. Again, I guess if we jinx this, you know who said it first. You can come for me if that happens, but Westmore's going to stand on business. We all know this, but there's January, there's February, and then there's Westmore. I can't wait to see Reynolds Coliseum rocking. It's always the best when the women get to host this portion of the region because Reynolds is fantastic all year long. But when you get that postseason atmosphere, it feels a little bit different. So I'm very excited to see the women tip off their March Madness journey on Saturday at 2 p.m. Second-seeded NC State versus 15-seeded Vermont. Time to get this thing rolling. Coming up next, we're going to round out our Friday show with Fan Friday, addressing our top comments of the week. This comes after a quick word from our sponsors.
The NCAA tournament is here, and so is the Bracket Breakdown.
Locked On Podcast Network and Amazon Fire TV channels are teaming up to deliver NCAA tournament coverage like never before. Watch studio shows featuring former players and Locked On's local experts as they guide you through every upset, buzzer beater, and bracket matchup.
Stream it all for free on Amazon Fire TV channel. Search Bracket Breakdown to see it all for free.
It's your team every day.
Last couple minutes of our Friday show. Now time for Fan Friday, addressing our top comments of the week. Here we go. First one comes from Julian Taylor. They say, even with a Final Four run by McNeese, Wade is still coming to Raleigh. I'm actually rooting for McNeese. It's only more positive publicity for us, the better he does. So yeah, this is kind of aligning with what we were talking about to open up the show. I would personally hope that they don't go to the Final Four because I'll be sweating a whole lot more than I will about the round of 32. But this feels like a very, very done deal. And I know that's hard to understand and fully grasp as an NC State fan. We have been burned so many times before that you keep that emotional wall up. Believe me, I'm doing it too. I'm almost struggling in a small sense to be as positive as I possibly can. But I do believe this to be a done deal. I would not tell you that if I thought otherwise. I'm very confident about Will Wade coming to Raleigh. His comments in the media have only reassured me. And he's saying, when I leave and where I go, and hopefully, some of my players will follow me there. And he's asked about NC State. He's got that poop-eating grin on his face. I cannot wait for this dude to get to Raleigh. And everything you saw from Will Wade on Thursday post-game, you better get excited about what he's bringing. His bags are definitely Louis.
Hey, listen, I look at it like this. I agree that he's coming here. And also, Wolfpack Nation, you got to stop being so pessimistic, baby. I'm sorry. I'm a firm believer in no matter how long you've been down, no matter how long you've been kicked, regardless of how long you've been, depressed, oppressed, however you want to put it, whatever it is that we've been for however long, the first place that the change occurs is in your mind. When I got to Cal State, I didn't know about a tradition of losing, a lot of tradition of being brainiacs who got beat up on all the tougher teams in the city. All I knew was, I'm here now. We're tougher now. We're better now. We're stronger now. We're going to win now. And that's it. We got to believe Will Wade is here now. We're going to win now. Good things can happen now. Did we not see it last year? Good things can happen to NC State. Believe it. Accept it. Last year we had 2 teams in the Final Four and a team in Omaha. Why can't it be NC State? Stop with all the, it can't be, I got PTSD, I can't. Don't give a damn about none of that. The thing about the old days is they're the old days.
American folk hero DJ Horn once said, why not us? Why can't it be NC State that has nice stuff? Believe that we can, and I guarantee you, with the way that things are shaping up right now, you're going to see that come to fruition. Next one here comes from Mike Howard. It says, I'm 56 years old, and it's the biggest hire in my life. Valvano had great success, but few knew who he was in 1980. Wade is almost a household name. Hopefully that gets him in a lot of recruits' front doors that maybe our previous coaches couldn't enter. So I was saying this on our live stream on Wednesday evening. This is the biggest hire of my lifetime. And proven here by Mike, this is the biggest hire for a lot of people's lifetimes, even older than Kenton and I. This is the biggest hire in recent NC State history across all sports, and maybe even not recent. It's like, I'm talking, this is a long time, all the way back to the days of Jim Valvano and possibly before that. That's how big of a deal landing Will Wade is. And it's so nice to see NC State target one specific coach and then go all in at all costs and do whatever it takes to land him and then land him. You finally get the guy that you've been waiting to bring to Raleigh for decades. And it feels so unbelievably sweet. And I tell you something, like I already said, it feels even better when you watch how he's carrying himself in the NCAA tournament.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, Mike, you're almost as old as me and Grayson combined if you stacked our years on top of each other. And I'm going to say this, right? I'm going to say this. Again, we have to believe that we have the first place the change occurs is in your mind. That has to be the first place that the change occurs. Like I talked about with the way that our previous coach was talking about his success in the conference tournament and the NCAA tournament, saying like, we just did it last year. Good. Now do it again. The expectation for that success is what gets you in recruits' front doors. When you can say success is not a rarity here that we stumble across, it is the level. It's the standard. And the standard is the standard, and we're not coming up off it if you can't get with the program and you can't be the guy to take us there. However, I've seen you play. I know you're the guy. I know you're our center of the future. I know you're our power forward of the future. I know you're going to be a great wing at NC State and continue the tradition, continue the legacy, continue the winning that we have here. But again, that first change is in the mind. So this hire being a great one in Will Wade, a guy who's almost household name and all that, that also explains why there's so much vitriol from the national media. Because let's be honest, if Will Wade was picked to be Coach K's successor at this exact same juncture, let's say we live in an alternate timeline where Coach K coaches for a couple more years, and right now was like, oh, by the way, y'all, I'm going to retire at the end of the year. Does the whole retirement tour thing, and is like, oh, Will Wade's going to be my successor. Do you think that everybody has this problem, all these problems? Do you think that everybody talks to Coach K and Duke the way that they've spoken about NC State for hiring Will Wade when they did? So exactly. Hey, he's here. Biggest coaching hire in quite some time. He's our guy. We love him.
Next one comes from DLT Jr. It says, things change. I'm 65, and I was in the band the last time we won an ACC football title. Houston Tucker the whole time. Does that mean like I lived in Tucker, or does that mean like Miller Lights in Tucker? Either way, says, I've seen a lot of stuff in my time. This was the best coaching search in modern history for us. The best. Things did fall in place. It was about time. Boo was ready, and he performed. I trust Boo going forward. So, yeah, kind of reiterating our point, everyone has been waiting to see what Boo Corrigan would do in a big-time situation like this. He's received a lot of flack for the controversies across a couple different sports at NC State, and he's never been in the position to make a big hire, whether it was men's basketball or football or even baseball or women's basketball for that matter. The Big Four haven't had to see a massive change during Boo Corrigan's tenure, which is since the year 2019. The time finally came, and not only did he land the hire that the fan base widely wanted, the collective wanted, and it was the number one target for all parties involved. That is a home run hire, the definition of a home run hire. NC State has been waiting to get a hustler, a gangster, as I now like to call him, because that's what John Rothstein said, and I think it's catchy. An American gangster is about to be your new head coach at NC State basketball. The last time that happened, it was an Italian gangster by the name of Jim Valvano. There's a change. There's a change in energy coming for NC State. To Kenton's point, there's going to be a change in mindset. I've seen so many clips, because I've been researching in these last couple of days, of how Will Wade approaches pressure situations and approaches life situations. I saw a clip, this is actually old, when he was back at VCU. He was talking about how the team needs to move as one, and he caught a couple players not wearing VCU-issued gear when they were getting on the bus. He didn't find out about it until later on in the fact, but he basically said that if he knew, he would not have let them get on the bus. They would have stayed there behind in the dormitory, and he would have gone on and played the game without them. This is a man that knows exactly how he wants to run a program, and it's a tight ship. If you can't give him the effort that he's looking for, you won't play. You won't travel. That tough love mentality is something that you used to kind of hear from Jim Valvano. I remember last spring when we had Thurl Bailey on the program, shout out Big T, he was saying that, or I think we asked him, if Jim Valvano was around, what do you think he would tell these guys in the locker room as we're advancing to the Final Four? And I distinctly remember that Thurl said he would burst into the locker room and probably get on them about a bunch of stuff, and then they would start to celebrate. It's running a tight ship. It's about team integrity and being uncompromising in how you want to run things. Will Wade is going to show you a complete change in mindset in all facets of a basketball program, not just financially, not just winning itself, because he wins a lot. And we all got to witness it yet again here in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. It's going to be a change of energy. It's going to be the biggest breath of fresh air around NC State athletics that we've seen in quite a long time. So my advice to all is to get ready for it and appreciate what Boo Corrigan has done. He had the job to do. He did the job. He deserves a world of credit for doing so.
Grayson, I could not agree with what you said there more. And DLT, I'm sure that you were a very well-behaved young man at Tucker, much like Grayson and I were during our college time. We're two gentlemen and scholars, to say the least. But there are three of them, including you, DLT, three gentlemen and scholars here. But I agree with everything that you just said there, Grayson. That's how championships are formed. That's how championship teams are composed or comprised, rather. Even when you hear guys like the Zen Master, Phil Jackson, talk about, well, how he got all of those personalities together, or if you hear Mike Tomlin, and every player that leaves the Steelers turns into a certified crash out the minute that their plane lands outside of Pittsburgh, and how he keeps it all together. It's that one unifying force. 5 fingers separate can only do so much, but a fist can do something entirely different. And it's definitely that thing, Grayson, of roll with it or get rolled over. I remember my head coach in high school, Thomas Wiltshire, benched an All-American running back for a city championship because he wore a visor. Because that was our rule at that time, no visor. Unless it was prescription and you needed it, no visor. Somebody wore a visor, he said, all right, cool, you won't play. You won't play. And that's how serious things need to be. If you won't accept it in the win, or if you won't accept it in the loss, don't accept it in the win. And again, we are who we are. The standard is the standard. And that's a big thing that I think there is with Will Wade, that continuity of the standard of winning.
Last one comes from 24 Will 09, which may or may not just be Will Wade. It's not, but I wish it was. It says, the only thing I'm worried about is if this is a West Virginia situation where Will Wade is with us for a year before taking a different job. I really hope that doesn't happen. I've seen this question pop up in our comments a couple different times, asking basically like what should NC State do if Will Wade is only at NC State for a year and he uses us as like a stepping stone for a bigger job? My response to that, NC State's responsibility in this coaching cycle is to go out and hire the best candidate that you can. That's it. You can't consider these types of situations, because if you do, you're going to walk on eggshells. You're going to tiptoe around. You're going to second guess yourself. You're going to hire someone that doesn't end up as successful as a guy like Will Wade might be. All NC State needs to do is hire the best possible person for this situation, for our situation. And they've done that. It's Will Wade. His personality match is a direct match with NC State. And if he is only here for a year, a lot of us are going to be upset. Fine. But that doesn't mean that they didn't make the right move right now in bringing him to Raleigh. I also believe that this is not going to be the situation. I've heard some clips of him from a couple months ago talking about what he's looking for in his next stop. And he said because he has a young family, has a young daughter, he wants to be somewhere for the considerable future. We're talking like the next 10 to 12 years. So if that does end up being the case, that's a massive win for NC State, because Will Wade, he's only 42 years old. This is a young guy in this profession. 42, full of life, more energy than you could possibly comprehend. It doesn't matter if he's only here for 1 year. Do what needs to be done right now, and the rest will take care of itself. Don't worry about 2, 3, 4 years down the line. Just focus on this year, especially because college sports right now, it's extremely year to year. So what's important is getting Will Wade to Raleigh as soon as possible, which hopefully is like Sunday or Monday. The rest will handle itself.
I want y'all to think about something here, because we keep talking about worst case scenario. So let's dig into the worst case scenario. If Meg Thee Stallion were to tell me she was going to date me for a year and a year only, you think I'm not clearing my roster? You think I'm not? You think I wouldn't block every young lady in my phone not named Mom, Kyler, Carrington? You know, like, I don't, what does this even mean? Like, with all due respect, right? With all due respect, would you rather, when we talk about Coach Keats and his team, when we talk about that Final Four run and all that, right? If you had to do it all again and you were guaranteed that Final Four run, or you had to go back, pick a different coaches, you didn't get to pick them. It's just the way that the cookies crumble around that, but there's no guarantee of that Final Four. What would you do? I believe most people would say, based on the history of NC State to that point, I'm still going to pick Keats because I need that Final Four, right?
Right.
And that was only a couple of weeks. If I have a great year, again, listen, hey, Miss Pete, if you wanted to date me for a year and move on with your life, I'm okay with that. I'm all right. I'm not. What a year we shared. Oh, that summer in France. I'll never forget it. But, in this situation, be excited about that, even if it is for a year. But also, this is what I mean when I say that first change got to be in your mind. This is what I mean. Because why is everybody so timid and so intrepid and so, something could go wrong? Relax. My family has the saying, if you can do something about it, don't worry about it. And if you can't do anything about it, don't worry about it. If you can do something about it, do something about it, right? If you can give more to Wolfpack NIL to keep him here, do that. If you can't do anything about it, don't do anything about it. If you feel like he's the guy and he wants to be here and you can show support in some way, show love in some way, do that. If you don't believe there's anything you can do to keep him here additional time on top of whatever contract he's going to sign coming up here, why are you worried about it?
Yep.
Don't worry about the negative, because everything in life has a negative possibility. When you get outside and go in your car, the engine couldn't crank up, but you're still going to press that button. You're still going to turn that key and trust that it will. Trust that good things will happen for the Pack in that way. I'm a believer. I'm a believer that this is the beginning of a new era of NC State sports. I really am. I'm a believer, and really it kicked off last year with that Final Four run to say, this is who we are. 2 Final Four runs and the team in the college in the College World Series. This is who NC State is. We're in everything school. Football, you're next. It's your time to put us in the national spotlight, put us in the national limelight. That's what we're doing. Softball is up, doing it. Cross country's been doing it for forever. Coach Pop has been doing it for forever. One of the best swim programs in the nation, doing it for forever. It's time for us to believe that the revenue-generating sports can also get to that level.
I kind of liken this to like when you go on vacation and the first day you're there, you're already worried about things you got to do when you get back home. And it kind of ruins the vacation because you're pent up, worried about, I got to do this, I got to do that. Don't do that. Worry about the vacation. Be where your feet are. Right now, NC State's feet are hopefully going to be right next to Will Wade's feet when he lands in Raleigh in a few short days. So just focus on the right now, especially in this new world and this new landscape of college athletics. NC State is getting the man they've been looking for decades. Stand in that. Let these next couple weeks, months, and hopefully multiple years play out before we get worried about something else that happens. And plus, if he is hypothetically only here for 1 year, let's say he kills it and goes on to take another job, NC State looks really good in the process, you're probably going to get another coach. So it's not the end of the world, even if he does leave. So don't worry about this right now. Don't cry over spilled milk that ain't been spilled yet. Don't worry about it. It's not an issue. NC State has bright futures on the horizon. That'll do it for us here on Friday and for the week. Big week in Wolfpack Nation, the most exciting hire in quite a long time. Tell us how you feel about it. Tell us your more in-depth thoughts after watching McNeese knock off Clemson in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. Anything else you have on your mind? The women's tournament will kick off for NC State on Saturday. If you're going to be in the old barn, let us know. Mash that like button. Drop all your comments in the comment box. Mash that subscribe button if you have not already. We'll see everyone back here on Monday for more. And until then, go Pack.
Go Pack.